And you're on.
Hello, my name is Jeff Eagen. I am a caseworker with Illinois Mentor here in Peoria, Illinois. And I am going to answer a few questions that I believe that you are interested in knowing the answers to. So, first one is like what an average day looks like for me, and I don't really have an average day. It's more like an average month. And in an average month, I am doing about 20 visits to different homes and going to court and doing paperwork for court hearings where I have to sometimes talk to the judge, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the judge. And that's basically just like a hearing to decide like whether progress is being made towards a kid going home or if progress is being made towards an adoption or things like that. And so I just have to type up reports that are sometimes long, but they're relatively easy depending on if you are actually doing your job or not. And I do a lot of driving. I drive typically about 3,000 miles in a month, which, if you can even imagine, that is a lot. That's a lot of miles. What do I love most about my job? That would be having personal interaction with the families that I work with, which isn't a huge part of the job, but it's the best part because it's the most I don't know. It's the time that I get to actually spend feeling like I'm making a real difference on an individual's life. The biggest challenge about my job is getting all of the paperwork done. I have to write a note for every phone call and for every conversation and every email and everything that I do in a week, and I have to turn them in by the end of the week every week. And so I'd say that's the biggest challenge, is making sure that you're on top of everything, because it's like a picture. I don't know if you've ever seen like somebody that spin like a guy that's like spinning a lot of plates on a bunch of sticks. Got 10 plates in the air, and you got to touch each and every one of those plates, or else one of the plates is going to fall. And that's what it kind of feels like sometimes. You got to keep making sure that you're touching each one of these families' cases, or else something's going to fall apart, and it inevitably does. Classes that I took, or that would be helpful, I can tell you what would be helpful, because classes that I did not take would be anything to do with this job. So I would say any classes that are going to cause you to have to interact with people that are different from you, to understand where they're coming from. So whether that's like maybe a sociology class or a humanities type of a class, or even understanding history and maybe our more recent U.S. history and poverty and those kinds of things, would help you to have compassion for people. That's something that I see is missing in a lot of people that I work with, is some compassion for these people's stories. Then it comes to the big question of what does a person make on average in my occupation, and that would be less than I should make, maybe less than you would expect, but probably more than you could ever imagine making at the same time, since you're in high school. So $29,000 is my salary, and that's before I get taxes taken out, which means I don't take home $29,000 every year. But anyway, that breaks down to a little bit over $2,000 a month, which is it's okay. You can live on that if you are just you, and you don't have to use that for everyone else. And then I would say, yeah, again, with the classes and things like that, just working on being around people that aren't like you and trying to get to know who they are and what makes them tick and what's interesting to them. Just getting to know a lot of varieties of different people will help you to be able to do a job in social work, whatever that looks like. You wouldn't necessarily be a caseworker. You could do any number of things. You could work for a park district, or you could work as a therapist, or you could work in a lot of different ways doing social work. But you're always going to be interacting with people that are from different backgrounds and that are a lot different from you. And if you can work on trying to understand other people, you'll be much more successful, probably in any job, but definitely in social work. So that's it. I hope that's helpful.